It's a good number of years now since the end of Second World War, so we baby boomers who were born around that time are coming up to the age where we'll become state pensioners, and we need to be thinking about what the future holds for us. Now, basic care needs are the same for everyone, and it's a fact that many of us will require the professional assistance that care homes provide. Those who find themselves in this situation are going to lose their preferred home and their independence on a permanent basis. Just think of the impact of this when our own home has been the one place we could really be ourselves without affecting anyone but our nearest and dearest, and sometimes not even then. So then, how do you think it might impact on people who are lesbian, gay, bisexual or transsexual? Their lifetime has already been beset by decades of hate, bullying and discrimination. Will admission to residential care mean they withdraw back into the closet and live the remainder of their lives in the shadows?
Harry spends most of his time alone in his room, not through choice. Some of the other residents call him names. It's no fun being the only gay man in a residential home.
My fear is that if I was to have to go into a home, that Martin won't be able to come and visit me without us having to hide stuff or we couldn't be ourselves. I think that's my biggest fear.
The thing that's important to me about home is it's a place where I can be me, all that's essentially me, not just gay, all that's essentially me. And I don't have to compromise on that and think, is it okay with other people if?
The other residents would probably be the biggest problem. You could find yourself in a situation where it's like going back to school, hiding from the bully and pretending not to be the fairy in the playground.
No, I'm never going to do that. I shall neatly take my tablets.
I don't believe in kind of segregation. I believe that we ought to mix together, because that's who we are. In the end, that's who we are. It's being treated as that person. It's being treated as a woman or as a man. That is the worry. That is the fear. That if I ever go into a home, I can see myself isolating myself.
I think if we're talking about things like LGBT issues, if you've used to been hiding them all your life and you're going into a new surrounding and a new environment, the chances are you're going to keep hiding them. I don't think you're going to open up. I think even if you were out before you went into the home, there's a chance that going into a new environment you're not going to say anything. I think the assessments are there. I think there's a will there to find out more about people, but I'm not sure whether they actually goes out to every member of staff and whether there's actually the time there to do that.
Long-term LGBT partnerships which have developed have tended to remain informal, mainly for the reasons already mentioned. And civil partnerships are a recent phenomenon and still subject to homophobia at times. As a result, many LGBT couples haven't made adequate arrangements for who they would wish to have next of kin status, thus compromising who would have the rights to champion a partner's wishes or retain domicile rights or inheritance. The length of association or cohabitation in itself doesn't count. Yes, they could have taken legal steps to address this, but fear of disclosure is a very powerful enemy.
Joyce sits alone, remembering the good times. She often talks to her partner Enid on the phone, but it's not the same. The nursing home where Enid lives does not allow partners to live together.
A lady I once knew, she'd been single all her life and she started to suffer with dementia. As a general result, she was sent to a private nursing home. The only problem was she'd been there for only a short while when she developed a strong relationship with another woman. And it got quite intense. It made this particular woman very happy. But the trouble was that the staff couldn't cope with it. And they sent her away to the psychiatric unit of the hospital to be assessed. She was sent then to a mental hospital which was on its last legs, and this is in about the mid-90s when they were trying to close them all. And she degenerated still further and became very, very unhappy, and she eventually died.
What I am is beside the point. I just like to have some respect,
Right.
and of course dignity, that people will take me as I am. Because of my voice, people look at me and think, oh, that sounds like a man. How do we treat this person? You know.
And so when you go into the home, is the care manager there promoting LGBT issues? Are there the posters there? Are there the flags there? Are there the information there? Is it readily available? Are all the staff trained? Are the residents taught? Are there posters around that inform other residents in there that, there's a zero tolerance around it?
There will be more basic things, like how residents decorate their rooms, which items they have in those rooms, and which people they invite into those rooms. They may be scared stiff that if their sexual orientation is discovered, they will have to endure a further dose of ignorance and discrimination. What about being scared to hold a long-term partner's reassuring hand for fear of upsetting someone? Or what about someone with impaired mental ability not understanding why other people are being so cruel and hostile? Although societal attitudes are changing, there is still a long, long way to go. Jo doesn't like to reminisce, not because she can't remember what it was like to be Joseph. It's just that even then, that's not who she really was inside.
The point is that when you're straight, you don't have to say you're straight, do you? And I think it should be very similar to if you're gay. You should be allowed to do your things, so you don't have to say you're gay. But if you hold hands or you've got male visitors coming to see you, there's no snide comments or there's no assumptions or anything like that.
Well, I've never had a problem with what people are. It's never ever, I've never ever even gone into that thing, what people are. You like people, and then people are people. It doesn't really matter about their gender, does it?
No, I suppose there'll come a day when Narvel and Terry will either be just Terry with no Narvel or Narvel with no Terry. Terry's 6 years older than me, that doesn't mean anything. The way I whittle and worry, he may well outlive me. Don't know. So I don't know. I just hope that by the time I get there will be, if I have to go into an old folks' home, that there will be a gay. Either it'll be all gay or at least partly gay, so that I've got a bit of company.
The difficult thing is actually people knowing that they do have rights and how to use them.
I'm very concerned about the human rights loophole in care homes. It's difficult to believe that anyone arranging and paying for their own care isn't covered by the Human Rights Act. I mean, isn't being human the deciding factor and not how your care is provided?
I think that from when we started doing all the workshops for this group and this film, when we asked about who human rights affect, 99% of the people said it was about other people in other countries. It wasn't about us. It wasn't about older people here, because people just don't think human rights. They think of human rights as around slavery, torture. They don't actually think about it around degrading treatment or the right to privacy or the right to correspondence and things like that. So I don't think that people in general, when they think of things that are being done to them or when they're being unfairly treated, will automatically think, hang on, that's an infringement on my human rights. I think people need to think more about how we're going to get older people to understand what the human rights are about and how they can access them and how they can use them.
If we are all born with human rights, how come at the other end of our lives we may have to start fighting for the most basic respect and dignity? Maybe we should all be demanding that human rights be applied to all humans, regardless of their differences. So it may be that in the twilight of our lives, we'll have something to look forward to that really is meaningful and can make us happy, rather than a further dose of misery. These, then, are some of our human rights, and they are tools that we as older people, and our friends and families, can use to protect our quality of life. To find out more about your human rights and how you can use them, visit or contact the following. And remember,